Good morning to you all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm just popping in, just giving myself ample time. And now it's 5:30. And now it's 5:30. 5:30. All right, you guys, welcome to another episode of The Breakfast Show with Marisha LaShay. It is so good to be here with you guys this morning on this beautiful, tremendous Tuesday. So let's jump right on in. Welcome. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome. So good to have you guys in here tuning in with me this morning. First and foremost, I definitely want to give honor to God who's ahead of my life. I always got to thank God for what he's doing. Thank God for this opportunity to be before you every morning. Thank God that I have a roof over my head, clothes on my back, shoes on my feet. Definitely grateful for my friends. And definitely grateful to be an inspiration just to myself and just pushing through. Man, my energy is through the roof this morning. Very excited for what the day has going on. No work today. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Give thanks for he is good. Okay? Shout out to all the educators out there. God is good. Okay? Because when we get them breaks, we need all them breaks. Do you hear me? And with that being said, let me go right in and share with you guys about the actual breakfast show. First and foremost, I am the host of this amazing show. All the hard work, all the 2 years that I have put in, that we are currently celebrating. But this show only airs in the months that have 30 days. So that is November, that is April, June, September, right? So we're back this month. We're celebrating 2 years in the podcast game. And it's also the fifth season. Yes. Can we turn it up? Can we clap it up? Yes. So, for the next days to come, we will continue the marathon of me using my gift of gab to inspire you, to motivate you, and to encourage you to reach for the stars based on real world topics. Season 5 is in full effect, like right now, turning it up a notch, bigger and better. I am celebrating my terrific 2 years of being in the podcast business, and I couldn't be any happier. I'm committing to many more years of inspiring and spreading the true word. My word is bond, and then I have finally, and as I keep repeating, I'm so proud of this fifth season. Because some people, when they first start, they don't continue. So for that reason, I am proud. I salute God. I salute my supporters. I salute the views. I salute everything that is happening as it relates to this podcast. I salute it and I receive it and I believe it and I'm thankful. So why am I going to turn down for what? Right? So with that being said, let me continue on. Bring it down a notch because I'm real amped up. So I'm going to bring it down by doing my mental check-in on a scale 1 to 10. And this is when you are checking in with your mental feelings. On a scale 1 to 10, 1 being the worst day of your life and 10 being the best day of your life. Can I be below or above the scale? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because sometimes when you start your day, you might not be at a high number. But you're willing to express that, and that's okay. So for me today, I'm on 1,000,000. I'm on 1,000,000 because I just had the opportunity to just kind of lounge around yesterday after work and just kind of relax, watch a little TV, have a little family time. That was great. I needed that. I definitely needed that. So if you feel led, definitely drop those numbers. But before I continue on with the mental check-in, I want to let you guys know that it's going to be 22 more days that this show will be in effect. And moving on to the message for today. It's entitled, Why Trust Me Then? Why trust me then? First and foremost, let's define what the word trust means. Trust is defined as having a strong belief in the goodness or ability of someone or something. To have trust in someone or something. Okay? And people tend to put their trust in people, that's friends, family, co-workers, children, your pastor, your mentor, your mentee. Trust is reciprocal, okay? You trust environments like the park, the mall. Back in the day, I know you did, but now anything can happen anywhere. The doctor's office, the schools, right? And you also trust processes, right? You trust your struggle. You trust when you are on a road to greatness. You trust all of that, especially when we are building our careers, especially when we are raising our children, especially when we're cultivating relationships, especially when we're working hard in marriages, especially when we're working hard in friendships, especially when you're repairing relationships. You're trusting that this is going to get better, especially when you've seen repeated behavior with these particular individuals that you have been going through all of this with. Okay? I want to share the reasons why people trust you. George MacDonald, a 19th century Scottish novelist, once wrote, "To be trusted is a greater compliment than being loved." That's a pretty bold statement even by the 19th century standards. Perhaps if I look at this from a different perspective, MacDonald is on to something quite thought-provoking. If being trusted is a compliment, maybe among the highest of compliments, it says something about just how exclusive trust can be. Maybe more inclusive than love. At least that's what MacDonald is challenging us to consider. If trust is indeed hard to secure, why is it that case? Why is that the case? Better yet, what are the factors that influence whether or not we trust one another? Believe it or not, this is precisely the question posed to me recently by one of my clients. When people are weighing whether to trust you or not to trust, he asks, what exactly are they looking for or looking at? As I do often, I look to research for answers. And I'm going to stop right there because that's why I'm looking for research. This is an article that's touching on a topic that dropped in my spirit. But I always either like to have an article for you all, and I also like to pull from what God is speaking to me on when it comes down to these words. So let me continue. Researchers around the world and in multiple disciplines have some clear lessons for us, particularly for those who supervise others. Researchers tend to agree that there are four primary factors that affect perceptions of trustworthiness and decisions to trust. They are as follows. 1, you, the person being trusted, the trustee. 2, them, the other party, the other person. The person doing the trusting, the truster. The interactions, going on the third reason, between the two of you and when relevant. And 4, the character of the organization. Let's start with you, and you being me. There are 3 specific things your subordinates rely on when they are assessing your trustworthiness. The first is their perception of whether you care about them. Research tends to describe this as your benevolence or goodwill towards those who report to you. The second thing is how they judge your ability and competence. The third thing is their perception of your integrity and of the organization's administration of justice and fairness. Let's take one at a time, starting with you and the various dimensions that matter. Your benevolence matters. Research suggests that the benevolence is an important factor we rely on when deciding whether or not to trust someone. Do you have my best interests at heart? Whether you refer to it as benevolence or goodwill, people are more likely to trust you when they perceive you genuinely caring for them and their well-being. Note the emphasis on the words perceive and genuinely. If you do care about someone but are unable to express that in a way the other party recognizes, you won't get credit for it. Likewise, if you try to fake care when deep down you could care less, it's also less likely to work. Benevolence that is recognized and that is sincere, both to contribute creating trusting conditions. Ability matters. Your ability, or at least how others perceive your ability, is a second factor that affects trust. Researchers call this can-do element of trustworthiness. People are more likely to trust you when they have confidence in your knowledge, your skills, and abilities. This is especially true in situations marked at high levels of risk and uncertainty. I'll trust my doctor to prescribe me medicine, but not necessarily to fly my plane. Okay? Integrity matters. This ought to come as relief. Unfortunately, in today's climate, it actually seems a little bit more counterintuitive. What research tells us, however, is that integrity is in the eyes of the beholder. People are more likely to trust you when they believe your actions align with values and principles they deem to be acceptable. Your integrity is not only being judged by criteria set by others, it's also being judged based on your past actions and behaviors. Okay? People will often look into your past for evidence of actions and behaviors that line up with their own. All right? The other person matters. Put slightly differently, it's not always about you. The person doing the trusting also matters. Each of us has developed what research called a propensity to trust. This is one way to describe our tolerance for risk and our willingness to accept being vulnerable in a relationship. Some of us enter relationships with a high propensity to trust, whereas others enter relationships highly skeptical. Our propensity to trust is shaped as much by our interpretations of our past as they are by our perceptions of our present. Accept the fact that there are some people and some groups who simply are slow to trust, regardless of the circumstances. Another thing that I want to share with you guys is your interactions matter. And what I mean by that is one factor that people routinely overlook, whether it's out of neglect or ignorance, the way we show up in the presence of others significantly influences their willingness to trust us. I call this our personal wake. Like a boat moving through the water, we also leave a wake in our path each day. We interact with others. Sometimes the wake is calming and comforting, while other times it can be rough and turbulent. The interactions between you and those you supervise are important because they create ripples that reach far beyond the actual interaction. All right? 4. Climate matters. It's probably not a surprise for the fourth factor that affects trust is organizational climate. An organization with ethical norms that are shared and respected widely amongst employees will create conditions that promote trust. Organizations that promote the psychological safety of employees will contribute to the development of trust. If employees perceive the organization at last cares about their well-being, they will be more likely to exhibit higher levels of trust. If employees believe the organization policies and practices are enforced fairly and consistently, they are likely to exhibit higher levels of trust. These 4 constitute the primary factors people turn to when evaluating whether or not to trust you. As you pay attention to each of them, there are additional things worth considering. Power is one of them. So I just want to recap you guys real quick. So the first thing is benevolence matter. Is it perceived genuinely? And that kind of goes to be broken down into 2 points that fall under benevolence. Ability matters and integrity matters. Your ability will show you your knowledge, your skills, and abilities. Your integrity, being able to trust you when your actions and everything need to align to your behavior. The other person who is doing the trusting matters, okay? That means that if you trust me to take care of your child, I'm going to take care of your child. If you trust me to drop something off for you and you leave it with me, that is what I'm going to do. All right? Your interactions matter. Okay? The way that you show up and you're present for someone. If you told me and invited me to your birthday party and I showed up because you trusted me to show up. All right? And climate matters. When you are dealing with an environment like amongst others in different organizations, those who are in Divine Nine organizations, Eastern Stars, a part of the Order, Masons, whatever organization that you are a part of, that takes trust. You trust that this person that you voted to be president is going to do their job and they're going to advocate for you. And also, another thing that ties into all 4 of them is power. With trust comes power. With trust comes being able to interact with other people that is doing the trusting. The interactions, your genuineness, benevolence, and the climate matters. So with that being said, you guys, I hope that you all enjoyed the show this morning. The show is coming to a close. I thank you guys for tuning in. But I have two things that I would like to share with you guys before I close out. And I have two goals since I'm celebrating 2 years. One of them is to expand my listening base. I dropped a link on my profile. Follow me on Anchor. Tune in to previous seasons. If you have not tuned in, you have the opportunity to. I'll also have some stuff coming about my YouTube page as well. And second thing is I'm trying to continuously to expand my podcast globally. Will you please, 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 please share if you have any friends that are overseas that would like to listen to something motivational and get inspired and just hearing some good things, something positive, no nonsense. And that is it, you guys. You guys have a tremendous Tuesday. I will definitely talk to you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. I love you guys. And thank you for your continued support. See ya.